Thank you, Ms. Franklin. Good morning. Last night at the December 20th Memphis City Schools Board meeting, we started in a very festive mood with quite a few celebrations. We had Hollis F. Price Middle College High School being recognized as a national Title I award winner. Schools that win that award have made significant increases in student achievement. So that was quite an honor for the district to have a school of that distinction. We also had an opportunity to share information and to present an award to Dr. Randy McPherson, who has won the National School Counselors Award. Dr. McPherson has worked tirelessly with school counselors, not only in Memphis City Schools, but across the state. And it was very significant that he had a national award presented last night. There were several contracts on the agenda. Then we moved to the Memphis City Schools Shelby County Agreement. That agreement was a document that was created by our board attorney and the attorney for Shelby County Schools. The goal of that agreement was to provide for Memphis City Schools and for Shelby County Schools opportunities to take a closer look at the impact of special school district, the impact of consolidation, and to study the demographics, the boundaries, and to make some, to take some time so that both districts could take a closer look at the effect of the proposed actions that were being made. That agreement failed. It had a 5-4 vote. We went from that vote to entertaining the Jones resolution. We had lengthy discussion, some board members offering information to support that resolution, and some board members offering information that did not support that resolution. After lengthy discussion, we had a vote, and the result of that vote again was 5-4. 5 board commissioners supported the Jones resolution, and 4 board commissioners did not. We ended our board meeting about 1 o'clock, and 11:30? It seemed like 1 o'clock. Well, the vote for the resolution was 11:30, and we still had business. That's the thing about this. We've been sidetracked, but we still have business. We still operate schools, so we have to continue to stay focused on the work that we have at hand. At this time, that's all the information that I have to offer. If you have questions, I'll entertain them.
Kanji Anthony from Action News 5. Can you just, I would love it if we could hear from all of you just to speak on the gravity of what transpired last night and what it means for the future of the children of Memphis and Shelby County.
Thank you. What happened last night was very, very serious, and it is unprecedented. So a lot of the territory that we will have to cover between now and the election and the outcomes of that election and the results are unknown. So we're still searching for answers. We're still uncovering questions. So this is a time for us to study hard, get the right answers, and share information with the public. It is important to note that many people don't have the real information. Quite a lot of people that I've talked with have more questions than they do answers. And unfortunately, I have more questions than I do answers. So we're still unsure as to what the situation will look like.
The gravity of this is we're talking about an institution that has been in existence since 1869. And the same institution that is responsible for educating nearly, well, I'd say most Memphians, the largest LEA in the state. This is, this was the vote last night was to take and make this decision a decision before Memphians to decide the future of this. But I still would contend that our job going ahead was going to be much easier if every adult that's involved in this decision and in this transition period will remember that the decisions that we make, we have to do what's in the best interest of children for all of Memphis City Schools. My entire time on the board, regardless of how contentious things may have been, I've always been able to rest easy at night because I realize that the work that we're doing is for children. So I would just ask, during this transition period, we're going to have adults making decisions that affect the kids. And if we keep that in the forefront of our minds, we will make the best decision for children, all children of Shelby County. So the gravity of it is definitely there, but I think that if we start out from the beginning, knowing that we have to do what's in the best interest of children in this county, our job will be a whole lot easier, and it will lessen some of the gravity of this decision.
Echoing that, it's been well documented that this is probably the most significant decision in the history of Memphis City Schools. So the gravity is certainly there, and we all take it as such, all of us. Having said that, it also, I always think when you get a whole community to this point where they've never been before, there's also a tremendous opportunity. And the opportunity now is for the entire community, Shelby, Memphis, everyone, to really, really get engaged and perhaps for the first time, a really elevated conversation about equality and quality of education for all children. Equality and quality of education for all children. So we have an opportunity now to have that discussion. That is something good that I see that has come out of at least this first phase. This is just the first phase. It now goes to voters. What I was concerned about and why I fought behind the scenes with the mayors were in the meeting, Mark Lawler was in the meeting, Mark Norris was in the meeting, Pickler was in the meeting, David Ritz was in the meeting, Strickland was in the meeting, John Aiken was in the meeting, Dorsey Hobson was in the meeting, Jeff Warren was in the meeting, because we were trying to say that in a magnitude decision like this, it should not be done hastily with the level of emotion and with the level of tempest that generated it in just 1 week ago. We understand what Shelby County was trying to do and so forth, but we had all the parties at the table to literally step back, and we thought we had some time to be able to figure out really what it all means. Now it's thrust upon us, and now we all have to hustle, and we don't know exactly where that's going to go. So when you have a split vote, 5-4, it sends a split message to the staff. It sends a split message to the community, and that's never good on something of this magnitude. Now, what my job is going to be right now and going forward is first get everybody home for the holidays. Folks are worn out, they're tired, they need to refresh and get some comfort with their families. But we're going to hit the ground hard in January and stay on the reform work. I'm going to stay on that work, and I'm going to focus the energies of our staff on teaching and learning and recharge the teachers, recharge the principals on what the work is at hand for children. This is not the time to get distracted. This is not the time to be in politics over the next 3 to 6 months and involved in campaigns and all that kind of thing. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to keep the staff focused on this work. And then we'll figure out what naturally happens through the process after that. But this is significant for both school systems. It's unprecedented and it's historical.
Dr. Cash, Mike Matthews, WREG. I wonder, sir, can you tell me at this time or us at this time whether your future is going to depend a lot on what happens in 60 days with a vote?
No, my future depends on me. You know, I decide my future. I could resign tomorrow if I wanted to. I'm retired in several states. I'll determine my future. But I will say that it is going to affect all of the staff one way or another. It's going to affect all of our staff. And we don't know exactly what that effect is. The only thing I know is that Shelby County School Board at this point, if the referendum passes, and that's, you can't assume that, but if it does, then the Shelby County School Board, I think, takes over decision-making of both systems for some period of time. And I don't know what that time is. You know, I've heard until the boundaries are reset and the new representative government is formed, and I've heard up to 4 years. So they will have to make decisions about a lot of things, and it will be coming, this was my point last night, right at budget season time. Right at budget season time. And we still don't have any dollars from the city. We're running short and low this year in terms of our budget, you know, our planned budget. And so once again, I'm going to have to make a lot of cuts and hard decisions that will involve personnel. But the question will be, you know, who votes that? You know, what board votes that? Do I do that work? Or do I leave that work to Shelby County, you know, for example? I mean, these are the kinds of operational questions, and I have at least 50, and there's more generated every day, that when you have a decision like that, you have to then operationalize the decision and manage the organization. And right now, it's a big, big challenge for me, but I'm going to do it.
If the 60 days are going to be very intense, as you mentioned, not much time at all. If in those 60 days, Doctor, if you sense that what you want to do can't be done because of the political climate that's going on in the community, is that something you'll put into your mind if you consider?
Oh, always. This is a good time to have a break. Everybody needs a break right now. And so these next 2 weeks, several weeks, you know, there'll be a lot of thought put into this by a lot of people. But I'll mainly be encouraging the staff, re-energizing the staff, doing everything to do to keep morale high and keep folks focused on the work. Now, there's different kind of morale. You know, if you're working hard and it's just hard work, then, you know, folks can be low morale over that. But it's hard work, what we have to do. But if it's over some uncertainty about their futures and what's going to happen to them, that's a different kind of morale problem. And I want to try to keep everybody encouraged. And we're going to have a little celebration in here this afternoon to honor unsung heroes in the district. So that'll help a little bit, and I can make a statement at that time. But I know the board will pull together. It's just where will the board be in 3 months? See, we don't know.
Lauren Johnson, Fox 13. It might be too early to ask this question, but how does this affect the Gates Foundation and the money you guys receive and the initiatives that they put in place in the Memphis City School District?
Yeah, I think it's premature. I think the signal is that the work will continue. I know they're hopeful and expectant of the work to continue. What's not known is under what structure and in what way it will continue, and will it have to be recontracted, or will it sort of stay within the contract framework that we have? There's some language in the contract that is pretty clear and pretty specific, and we'll just have to see how that unfolds as we go forward. But right now, the messaging is that the work will continue as is.
Is there any,
and I'm hopeful that it will.
Is there any way at this point to give us a preliminary look at what a merged school system could look like, just on a surface level? Because I know there's so many decisions that need to be made before we really know any concrete details.
I would just say that no one knows. The only answer that I can give you would be 105 plus 45, taking the student enrollment. But as far as an organizational structure, I don't think that anybody could tell you what that looks like now. But what I do know is that, just logistically speaking and from an infrastructure standpoint, Shelby County schools under their current structure cannot handle the addition of 105,000 students. So it would be my expectation that the people who work for Memphis City Schools and have a job to do to educate children in Memphis City Schools, their jobs and their responsibilities will not change based upon a change in who what the name of the school district or who happens to employ them at that particular time. They still will have still have a responsibility to educate kids. I don't see there being a massive firing of everybody who works for Memphis City Schools, and then they go out and hire everybody to do these same jobs that will need to be done under the current structure of Memphis City Schools. And to think that just after 60 days, now this is just one person speaking here, any type of transition period to fully integrate both school systems, I see taking place in no less than 2 years, if not longer. So there will still be children who need to be educated in both systems, and it's not just a flip of the switch the day after the vote, and then you have a combined school system. You know, I hope that this was going to be a very well thought out, very deliberate plan of this community to determine what the future structure of education will be in Memphis and in
Like
Shelby County.
a charter committee?
I would, instead of a charter committee, I would essentially say, for lack of a better word, I would think of a transition team or task force designed to determine the future structure of both organizations.
Well, since we've not been down this road before, I think it is interesting that we make suppositions. One, that the community will vote to give up the charter of Memphis City Schools. And then secondly, to propose individually what we think the new district will look like. We have no way of knowing that. Commissioner Jones has his ideas about how things may go. I think if we polled everybody in this room, we'd come up with different ideas about how we think things will go. Ultimately, it is up to the voters. That's where we are at this point, and I look forward to the voters having an informed decision.
But last night we heard so much talk about different scenarios, and it really makes us realize how confused the public is. What is the district's responsibility, and how will you go forward now to help people understand?
People are very confused because of lack of information. I think it is the district's responsibility to share facts with the public. Everybody is entitled to their opinion and to their position, but everybody is not entitled to their own facts. So as an educational organization, I see it as our responsibility to put commonly asked questions out there and to make sure that we have solid facts for citizens as we move forward.
Frida, this question's for you. Do you guys have to approve the minutes before this becomes official or before it's enforced? Can you kind of explain that process of what's next?
That's something that we'll have to discuss with our board attorney.
What do you normally do?
I don't understand your question. What do we normally do?
I think you're right, but
Somebody must know the answer to that question. Are there any plans for any special called school board meetings in the next week?
Not that I'm aware of.
You'd be the one who sets that up.
I would think so.
Do you think you need one?
Not that I'm aware of.
Why not?
I have no knowledge at this time for a need for a special call meeting.
How can you have an election in 60 days unless you get the minutes approved and have this thing put on the ballot?
There is no need for a special call meeting to have the minutes approved or to put it on the ballot.
Tell me how it's done, since I'm not sure how it's done.
Pardon?
I'm not sure
And
how it's
neither
done.
am I, since I've not experienced this before and I have no reference. So it is a fact-gathering opportunity for all of us.
How is it normally done? How is it normally done?
Well, what do you mean? There is no normal. When you have an abnormal situation, there is no normal way for it to be done.
When you have any vote on any issue, is it official until the minutes are read?
What he's saying basically is, with
I understand what he's asking, but he doesn't seem to understand my response. So perhaps, Attorney Hobson, you can communicate better.
It's a real simple question. It really is a simple question. Do the minutes have to be approved on this before it becomes official? The action of the school board of last night becomes official.
So this is not a simple issue. I understand your frustration. I understand that there are a lot of questions that are unanswered. As a general rule, the board approves minutes the following meeting. However, what we've been told by the election folks is that once a vote is held, if we forward the resolution, we've already been contacted by them. They want a copy of the resolution and a copy of our charter. So, that's something that we'll have to do some legal analysis on. But just as a general rule, the board approves minutes from the following meeting at its next meeting.
Is this decision, the vote, not final until January?
The vote is final. We need to do some more analysis in terms of if there needs to be another step before we forward the resolution. Now, the reality is the resolution was passed. It's a public document. The Election Commission has asked for it. We do need to do a further analysis to see whether there needs to be another affirmative step by the board before the Election Commission will take action. We'll do that today.
Has the Election Commission received the resolution? Have you notified them? Does the 60 days start today?
No, they sent an email to us today or called today and said, hey, we'd like to get a copy of the resolution. We just got that as I was walking in here. And, with all due respect to all of you all, we're not trying to be elusive, but this is, as Dr. Cash and Dr. Williams and Martavis have said, one of the most significant votes in the history of the school district. There are a lot of moving pieces, and we're trying to put them all together. Nobody's trying to be elusive. Nobody's trying to, dodge the question. You raised very legitimate questions, and we're going to go back and get the answers to them. But unfortunately, as we sit here right now, we're going to need to do some more analysis to see whether we just send it to them and it becomes official, or we need to have another vote. Those are good questions, and we'll get the answers to them today.
So for the average person out there whom we'll ask, is last night's vote officially binding? What do you say to them?
I would say the board took a clear action yesterday that is binding. There may be some procedural things that need to occur now. Shalal, what questions been asked before the board? Sir, there are a myriad of questions that this board talked about last night, and I think they said that there are a lot of unanswered questions. Nobody denies that, but with respect to this particular procedural issue that we're asking about, that's not going to be difficult to find out, and I suspect we'll have the answer to that today.
Is this something where the two school systems will have to get together to start formulating a plan of how to move forward if the voters do in fact pass it? I mean, I'm just wondering how everything is going to move forward, from the vote.
I would think so. But now, this is the opinion of one board member, just as when the president speaks, that's the opinion of one board member who happens to be the president. So it would be, in order to move forward with such a gargantuan task that we have as a community going ahead, it would be logical that would be the next, would be a step, that this would be a step in addition to multiple steps that would be required in order for the full implementation of this.
My understanding is that teachers are the only protected employees. So if teachers are the only protected employees, it would be up to Shelby County Schools to make arrangements with the administrators. And in terms of a transition plan, there would be no more Memphis City Schools. So who would work that transition plan? So again, these are so many things that we don't know, and the idea of the Memphis City Schools Shelby County Agreement was an opportunity for us to learn, to get the answers to many of these questions that were so important before we took this giant step.
Certainly we'll be responsible as professional leaders during this time. I'll be reaching out to John. He'll reach out to me, no question. We'll be talking about the implications going forward so that we will have some understanding about it, but it's a huge, huge, complex issue. We're scheduled to receive some students from 2 schools in Shelby County in the new year. So we're meeting now to determine that transition process, and that takes the better part of a year for the Mount Pisgah, and the Dexter schools are coming to Memphis City schools. They were scheduled to come this year. Now that's just 2 schools, and we hired a principal for January. That person will work the rest of the year trying to get ready to take those students into the new Cape Bond school. Now that can still go in some kind of way, but it has implications now. Where do the kids stay? We started the school. Is anybody going to be in that school? Is that going to be a Shelby County school? So imagine, is all I'm saying, is imagine a whole school system and what you would have to think through. You can't get that done in 2 months. That's a 2-3 year possibly planning situation to absorb a school system of the complexity and magnitude. And then from what I'm hearing from the Shelby County politics, the Shelby County Commission politics, it's that wouldn't be absorbing into Shelby County, it'd be Shelby County absorbing the other way. And so I don't know, we don't know. I'm just going to stay right on point as this unfolds and try to keep all the staff focused on the work of educating children.
The sheer size of a combined school system is probably going to pose unimaginable implications. I don't even know if there's a way to speak to that. Is there any way to speak to just the sheer size of what it might look like? Or, it's not even a question.
We were just saying pretty much.
Okay.
Yes, pretty much just.
Okay, any parting words to the people of Memphis and Shelby County, the parents, just in hope that everything will work out? In the end, do you believe that everyone will come together and make this work out either way?
Well, I'm a pragmatist first because I've been an educational leader, and you have to think about the day-to-day and the operation of any plan or any ideal of this magnitude. But I do think it's, again, a tremendous opportunity, and if the community can engage in a non-divisive educational debate about what will be good for all children, and we get a good representation of parents, teachers, community members, senior citizens, everybody, taxpayers involved in that conversation, that can only be good for Memphis. But there won't be any quick, easy, done deal answers over the next few months.
I think it's important that a decision of this magnitude is not left to 10% of the voters of Memphis. We have a history in Memphis of not really turning out to the polls oftentimes. So I think it's important that we inform our citizens and then energize them so that they do go to the polls, and that the decision that is made will not be one made by one small group of energized voters, but it would be a broad spectrum of voters across the city.
I would just implore that every adult that's involved in any aspect of this, of our future, of our children, just realize and put at the forefront of their minds that children are the most important element of this discussion. If we let that be our guiding principle in everything that we do, then I think that this will work out for the best.